Hi guys, and welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls, Blight Town, Episode 7, Version 2. So we're just going to get straight into it. So this is my recommended setup. This is what you want to be at, ideally, for going into Blight Town, to make this the easiest it's going to be. So I've got the Claymore, great weapon. I've got Pyromancy Flame, just for that extra offensive capability. The Spider Shield, because it blocks poison attacks. If not the Spider Shield, then you want to use the Heater Shield. I also have the Thorlin Talisman, because it's I've got my Heal Miracle on. Now for rings, you want to ideally have Ring of Favour and Protection and the Fog Ring, and I'll show you why you want the Fog Ring later on. But if you don't have Ring of Favour and Protection, you want the Wolf Ring. If you have Ring of Favour and Protection but you don't have Fog Ring, then use the Wolf Ring instead. You also definitely want the Rusted Iron Ring and maybe the Old Witch's Ring if you want. And I'm using the Brigand set because that's just my preferred armour, so obviously that's more personal taste, but this is just my take on things. So with this particular setup and everything I'm wearing, I get a fast roll with all the equipment I'm wearing. However, I want to show that Blight Town is much easier than people think it is, so I'm taking off the Ring of Favour and Protection, putting on the Wolf Ring, and because of that I need to take off my helmet and my gloves to do that. So this video will be sped up just slightly to just try and cut down some of the time. Some bits will be sped up more than others. Generally the whole video will be sped up by like 0.5. So before we head out, when you come here to Domin Hall, you want to buy as much gold pine resin as he has left, and hopefully maybe have some left over from the Gaping Dragon. Hopefully he didn't use it all. So now we're in Blight Town, we get down this ladder and this is us. The first thing that we will be encountering is these infested barbarians. Now, I'm going to take the Ring of Fog off, and you'll see that without it, these things aggro really fast and from a decent distance away. So, there's 3 ways of taking care of them. So, when this guy first aggros, you can do this with all of them. You can make them follow you. What you can do is if you stand like right on the corner here, they'll all just fall off. So that's one way of taking care of them. So I'm going to put the Ring of Fog back on, and the next way of taking care of them is essentially by trying to backstab them off the edge. I don't do it, but you'll clearly see where I'm going for here. The great thing, if you're wearing the Ring of Fog, you'll only have to deal with one at a time, like guaranteed, which is definitely a big advantage. These guys are really easy to backstab when they come in. Obviously I can't right now because he's like right at the edge. But yeah, I mean, these guys can pose a threat because they've got a lot of health, but generally their attacks are really easy to dodge. Now remember, when you're backstabbing, you want to make sure your shield is down, because if you're holding your shield up, it won't let you backstab animation even if you're behind them, so just remember that. But you'll see here, go in for the backstab, and if he was closer to the edge, it just went straight off. So it's easy enough to do that to them, and or even just backstab them to death, considering how easy their attacks are to block. This game's definitely much more manageable with the Ring of Fog when you don't have lots of enemies aggroing on you, and if you want to test it out for yourself, if you don't have the Ring of Fog, you'll definitely know that for sure. So the next option for taking care of these guys is simply by just going at them. If you get into this situation, just watch out for their attacks. When you see them swing back, roll away, and then just get in a couple of hits. Patience really is a big thing with this game, so you want to take that into account whenever you're doing anything. So quickly, while I finish this guy off, I'm going to explain that although I already have 2 Blight Town guides, I was really unhappy with the quality of them. I felt that I didn't seem too engaged in the previous videos. Now, I got a dung pie off that guy, and that's very good, and I'll show you why soon. But yeah, I just wanted to remake these videos just because Blight Town's a really main area, and I wanted to make this as entertaining and as quick and informative as possible, so this is pretty much perfect. So here we are, we're versing an infested ghoul. If you didn't have the Ring of Fog on right now, you'd have like 3 of them on you at this point. Now these guys are ridiculously easy one-on-one. Like, as you can see here, you don't even need to dodge their attacks, you just need to move back to avoid them. So that should be a big indication in how easy these guys really are. Now you'll see what I've done there, they have this one grab attack, and they'll do like a little golem-y, spitty roar thing at you. That's when you want to definitely move out the way of them, or else they'll grab you and probably do about like a third of your health. So yeah, just watch out for that one. All their attacks can be blocked, aside from that, obviously. They can be backstabbed really easily, just like any other humanoid enemy. So that's the main thing you need to take into account here. So right now, I'm going to take off the Ring of Fog, and I'm going to show you the main reason why the Ring of Fog is good right now. Now, this Blow Dart Sniper as soon as I walked out, he was able to see me there, and he toxics you really quickly. If I was wearing the Ring of Fog, he wouldn't be able to see me. He would just completely ignore me, which is the main reason. People complain about the Blow Dart Snipers all the time, but aside from taking less enemy aggro in general, their aggro ranges are completely shortened. So with these Blow Dart Sniper guys, they give you absolutely no hassle whatsoever. So that is the main reason why you want to, have the Ring of Fog. Now, this other method is if you unequip all your armour, you can toxic yourself with Dung Pies. Now, the toxic damage you take off these is much less than the toxic damage you take off these guys. So this means that you can toxic yourself, and you'll take the equivalent of what you'd be if you were poisoned, and then you can deal with them that way. So even if you do get toxicked and you don't have any blooming moss, then it's not going to be an issue, because you're not going to lose that much health. Now you can jump down here and you can drop attack that guy. So just another little hint, and just take care of these ghouls. There was his grabby roar attack that you should be watching out for, and yeah, so just take care of him, easy enough. And there's another one down the end here, which you'll need to take care of. And now this guy has like a body for a weapon, whatever. But yeah, that doesn't change anything. He's still just as easy as the rest of them. So down here, all there is a Soul of a Proud Knight. So you can miss this if you want, but I think that there's a lot of souls in Blight Town, especially for this point in the game, so you probably want to get them because it is helpful. Now you can see here that there's two bridges over. This bridge over here wobbles, so just use this bridge like every single time. There's no point in taking the risk going over a moving bridge. I remember I'd done it my first go and I was like, pure heart was in my mouth, but it's not an issue anymore. So some more infested ghouls to take care of. There's really no issue. Again, if you didn't have the Ring of Fog on, it might be an issue because they'd be ganging up on you, and that's really not what you want. Not what you want. So yeah, once you've taken care of these guys, we can proceed. Now with this guide, I want to give a deeper understanding of the architecture of Blight Town. Once it's explained, really the layout of Blight Town is not complicated whatsoever, but I know when I first went into it, I was like, this is just a complete maze, and I had no idea what I was doing. Frankly, it's nothing compared to Valley of Defilement and Demon Souls. Now you want to walk down this little ledge here, you don't want to jump down or fall off, because that floor there, which looks slightly different from the rest, that will break through and you'll fall down into what I consider the furthest away layer 3 of Blight Town. Now right now we have moved from layer 1 to layer 2. This area here with the bonfire is what I consider layer 2. Now what we're going to do now is go and get all the items that are floating about in this area. Now the first items that we're going to be getting is the shadow set and a few large, decent for this point, soul packets. Now these items are what I consider to be on area 1.5. Right now we are what I would consider to be on layer 1. Once we go down those ladders, that's us on layer 2, but right now we're on layer 1, and these items are on this layer here. Now this is layer 1.5 because it's in between the layer with the bonfire and the layer that we were just on. So if you can try and get that into your head, hopefully that's explaining it a better, and you can understand where it is that I'm coming from and get a better understanding of the layout of Blight Town. So there's the shadow set and there's two soul packets. Now the reason I call this 1.5 is you need to jump off this layer 1.5 and you roll off, and now you're on layer 2. So I'm sure that from that you can understand why I'm getting this sort of mental model in my head. So we're moving back up to layer 1, like back up to where the bridges are, and as you saw there, the floor collapsed when I kicked that enemy off. His body shows up a little bit later on, but it's just to reinforce the fact that you don't want to be falling down there really. So you can come around here, again this is back on layer 1, back where the bridges are, and you can come down here and you can drop down there, that body there, and that is where the shadow set will be. So yeah, you can also get it from this way, but again I want to give a deeper understanding, which is why I'm going about it the way I am. So you want to jump off at this point here, and this will take you down to the Iato, which is basically just the Uchi Katana replacement, but it's better in my opinion. Anyway, you want to make sure you can jump off right at the edge, and because if you don't jump off properly, you'll hit an invisible wall and you'll just go plummeting to your death. It sucks, I know, but yeah, so we got the Iato, and we are just going to go back to the bonfire. Well, don't rest at it, whatever. So now, remember when that body fell down the hole? We are going to go down there. Now you can just drop off here, and this takes you down to the lowest layer of this part of Blight Town. This would be layer 3, I guess, but this part of layer 3 doesn't lead anywhere, it only leads back to layer 2, as you'll soon see. Now there's only 2 items down here, but I actually recommend that you get them anyway, because they will be helpful, especially if you don't have the Ring of Fog, as you'll soon see. Basically, when you come down here, there will be a humanity, so just make sure you can get past those pots and walk up this ledge carefully to claim your humanity. Now if you want to do what I done, which was do the Chaos Covenant and get the shortcut to Lost Islith, you want as much humanity as you can get, so that's a good idea getting it. Now here we're on really the only mandatory moving bridge in Blight Town, if you do this anyway, and the trick to getting over that is don't walk. If you walk for some reason, you just slide off it. Obviously don't sprint across it, but just do what I done and jog across it. Just make sure you follow its motions and you should be fine. Anytime I've tried to walk over it, I've fallen off, and it's not due to me being bad at the game or whatever. It's when you're walking, you seem to have less of a foothold. It's insane, it doesn't make any sense, but I promise you this is the case. Now when you walk down here, you'll get blooming moss. Now this is the only thing that cures toxic, and obviously you've got a high chance of being toxic in this area with the blow dart sniper guys, so it's important that you get that just in case, because if you get toxic and you're far away from a bonfire, or you're near the next bonfire, it's just going to piss you off if you die. So that is all the items in this beginning area of Blight Town, and now we can move on to the next area, or the next section. So I guess we'd be moving down to layer 3 again. Again, we're on layer 2 right now, but we're moving down to layer 3, which will then, it's layer 3 which actually leads to the exit. So again, at this point, if you didn't have the Ring of Fog on, you'd be getting ganked by NPCs right now. So again, keep that in mind. The Ring of Fog is definitely useful. So yeah, at this point, if you didn't have the Ring of Fog on, again I'm reinforcing it, but it's very important. It's the best item in the game, in my opinion. At this point, up there is a blow dart sniper, and he would be bombarding your shit with toxic right now if it wasn't for the Ring of Fog. So again, just keep it in mind. The Ring of Fog, the amount of time it takes to get it really counteracts the amount of time that you save from using it, so keep that in mind. So we're going to take care of these enemies. I think use a Pyromancy flame to take care of them. They're easy enough. You know, using Pyromancy anyway, they're about as susceptible to using your sword. I guess in this particular instance he did grab me, but you know, it's no big deal. My Pyromancy flame right now is, I don't know if it's a basic Pyromancy flame, it might be an ascended flame +5, because I'm using the mule build for this, because I didn't want to just start a whole new game. But regardless, using the heal miracle, remember to keep that if you have it, remember to use it well. But now we are moving on to the next part of Blight Town. Now this is, I discovered a trick, really, if you're not taking into account the things that I'm doing. Pick up this soul, by the way. The main thing to keep in mind when navigating Blight Town is go towards the light. There's lots of torches and things strewn about Blight Town. Just follow the torches and go down. Every ladder that leads down and has a torch pretty much leads to the exit of this area. So that's the main thing that you can keep in mind for dealing with this place. Now, as you can see, there's a blow dart guy down here, but I still managed to get toxic even though I'm wearing the Ring of Fog. So you know, the moss is important because you never know what can happen. Now down here is where we get the Eagle Shield, which is the lightest Great Shield in the game. So the Eagle Shield used to be much better than what it is, but it's still definitely a decent shield. So I recommend that you get it. It is good, you know, for sure. So going back up here, now there's a parasitic wall hugger, as it's called. Now at this point, if you have a bow and arrow, you can easily shoot it to death and claim your power within pyromancy, and you don't lose any items by doing that, because I'm going to show you the route. If you don't use the bow and arrow, you can go up behind it and kill it that way. But yeah, there isn't any items in this route, so you know, if you use the bow and arrow and don't go this way, you're not going to miss out on anything. So just keep that in mind, and you also not need to deal with the blow dart guy. So you know. Anyway, yeah. So what you want to do is you want to go across the scaffolding and come into what appears to be like some kind of, I don't know, sewer duct. Don't know what you'd call it. It's just a big tube, really. And this essentially leads around to the back of the wall parasite. I wonder why there's not more of them in the game. You know, you'd think there would be, but regardless, you can jump off there, but I just decided to slide down. Now something kind of irritating and crappy happens here. Literally the only time I died during this entire video, and it was like some crazy glitch because I sort of slid behind it and got caught in its leg here, and then when I killed it, this happens. I just get shot off the edge for some reason. So I just came back straight here, you know, and when you kill that thing, you can pick up the Pyromancy power within, and it's a really great Pyromancy, so I definitely recommend you pick it up if you're using Pyromancy anyway. But even if you're not, you can just pick up a Pyromancy Flame, get power within, and it just gives you buffs through the full game. Now this is what I would actually say is probably the hardest part of navigating Blighttown. In this one tunnel with this one guy, there's not a lot of space to move. He's right at the entrance, so you're going to get aggroed regardless. So yeah, this guy is actually a bit of a pain to take care of, you know, if you're inexperienced at the game. But I'm pretty sure I remember him fucking my shit up, like, you know, when I first started this game. So definitely watch out for that. But once you've taken care of him, it's pretty much a walk in the park to get down to the bottom. So yeah, that's good news for you, you know, novice of Blighttown. But this guy, again, just take him out like you take out any other guy. And now you can go two ways for this way. You can go through the fog gate, but that literally just leads to two sets of ladders that lead to the bottom of here, and you don't miss any items. So if you want to check out, you can check out yourself, but just jump off the ledge there, and it means you can pick up the whip, and then just carefully drop off this ledge, and it takes you down to the bottom where going through the fog gate would take you. So don't worry about it, it's quicker doing it this way, and you get the whip. So now you'll be facing crag spiders, which are ridiculously easy considering how horrifying they look. I mean, they're really horrible, and especially the fact that their body gets caught on you like all the time and you drag it about. I don't like it. But yeah, you just navigate down this scaffolding. That shouldn't be an issue at this point, and you're pretty much at the bottom of Blighttown. There's really no more issues except from one more thing you need to take care of. There's an armour set we want to get, as well as the scimitar and or falchion. I think it's the falchion. Now up this bit of scaffolding here is another blow dart sniper, so remember to keep your spider shield up or use any other techniques that I talked about. And you can pick up the Wanderer set and the falchion. Yeah, I was right. And the Wanderer set is about as good as the Brigand set. So yeah, you know, whatever. I think the Wanderer set looks a bit better, but the reason I picked the Brigand set is just from the initial stats it gives you and stuff. So you know, whatever. That's why I picked that as my starting character. Plus the spider shield is good to start off with as well. But yeah, so killing all these crag spiders, blah 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 blah, whatever, and we are like so close to the bonfire at this point. It's crazy. So just keep that in mind. Now I've got a technique for taking care of these bloat flies, which I'll show you in a second. Just let's get to the bonfire first, and then I will take you through a few little hints for making navigating the swamp area of Blighttown a little bit easier. So here we are, we've got the bonfire and we're good to go. Now you probably don't want to be human when you're doing Blighttown at all, because you don't want to be invaded, especially not in Blighttown, and you know, some people can be dicks, and that is kind of the whole point in Dark Souls, is to just be a dick. Now, the first tip we've got for the Blighttown swamp is if you're doing a running attack with a halberd in the swamp muck, the attack is instant. As you saw there was no animation for it, it just attacked, and as you can see, that's what the run attack actually looks like on land. You actually swing it over your head. Another tip is if you're running in the muck and you don't have the rusted iron ring on, if you tap triangle while you're running, when you do the animation for switching your weapon between one and two hands, your stamina bar it just stops a little bit, so it gives you that little bit extra stamina. And a use for throwing knives is killing those bloat flies. So if you don't have a weapon that's easy enough to hit them with, just use your throwing knives to take care of them. So there you go, there's some tips. Now, and really I would recommend using the rusted iron ring. It is probably the best thing, even though you don't get the instant running attack or whatever. It just means running through the swamp is just easier. In failing the rusted iron ring technique, just use the one-handed, two-handed switch technique. Remember to pick up the dragon scale from the back of there, like I just done there, so remember to pick that up. And right now we are off to Shiva of the East. Now he will only appear here if you have joined the Forest Hunters Covenant, so you can see that in part 4 of the guide. And this is Shiva right now.
I love collecting these things, but I can only keep so many. And you are a friend. I'll sell them cheap.
Okay, now Shiva sells a whole bunch of crap, but you don't need to buy all of it. The Flamberge is dropped by the Serpent Mages in Sen's Fortress. The Stone Greatsword is dropped by the Stone Guardians in Darkroot Garden. The Great Machete is dropped by Capra Demons. You get the Shotel in Sen's Fortress as well. The Yuchi Katana is dropped by the Merchant in Undeadburg. The Demon's Great Axe is dropped by Taurus Demons. Now, the Demon Spear is dropped by the Batwing Demons in Anor Londo, but the Claws and the Washing Pole are indeed unique to Shiva of the East, so that's the only place you're going to get them. I would recommend you buy the Yuchi Katana off him as well, because keeping the Merchant in the Undeadburg is good, because he sells Lloyd's Talismans. But regardless, this is how we're going to kill these guys easily and get their stuff. If you've bought everything you need from Shiva of the East, then this is kind of how you get his things as well. And he drops the Iron Round Shield, which is actually a pretty cool shield. It's a medium weight shield, but it has great shield deflection, which means when people ping off you, they like go flying back. Anyway, what you do is you just aggro one of these crag spiders and get it to do its fire attack, which will just damage them, and it means that you can kill Shiva. Or even if you want to keep Shiva alive, you can use this technique to kill his guardian guy, and it means that Shiva won't aggro you because it was this guy that killed him. So yeah, keep that in mind. So get rid of the crag spider, pick up Shiva's stuff. You also get his Murakumo, which is it's a cool weapon. It does a lot of poise damage and that as much. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, my experience, it's done a lot. So you can now use your weapon to take care of the little ninja guy. And this is the guy that drops the Dark Woodgrain Ring. Now the Dark Woodgrain Ring is going to be a pivotal item for the rest of the game. It's definitely recommended you get it, and yeah, killing him is how you get it. It's the only place in the game where you get it, and basically it allows you to do ninja backflips and forward flips instead of your normal roll. But this is great because it makes you roll faster, and it gives you more invincibility frames, so it's great for doing certain bosses when the Wolf Ring and the Ring of Fog don't really do anything against bosses. So now we are off to get the rest of the items that are in this bottom part of Blighttown. Now over here is a large Titanite shard. Now in this space here, Quilina of Ceaseless should show up. if you have a Pyromancy Flame plus 10, if it's ascended to plus 10. But we'll come back and we'll do that later. When we're coming back, you'll see why. It just makes more sense structure wise. Anyway, getting the rest of the items. Now you can come over here and there's 2 infested barbarians. Now a point that needs to be made is these infested barbarians drop the large club, which is one of the best weapons in the game as far as I'm concerned. It's the second best weapon in the game, especially if you're going for a strength build. Now these ones that throw the rocks at you also drop the pickaxe, and they drop dung pie as well. The pickaxe is a decent strength weapon as well. So I'm going to put the Ring of Fog back on, that way things aren't aggroing as much. And I've sped up this video a bit more because it's really just running at this point, and it's not fast enough that you can't see where I'm going, but this is just going to make the video just a bit shorter, just it's easy, more palatable, so we could say. Now the infested ghouls drop little soul packets. I can't remember what particular one they drop, and they drop the the straight sword hilts. Now there we picked up the Pyromancer set. The Tattered set has good fire resistance and the first poison mist of the game that you can get, and you'll get the second one later on in this video if you so indeed want poison mist Pyromancy. Come around there just to show there's nothing here, and this is where you will first be encountering the leeches of Blighttown. Now you may want to unequip the Rusted Iron Ring here, so you can get the fast running attack with the halberd. Just an idea, it might make these guys a bit easier. I didn't do it, but it's no biggie. There's a large Titanite shard to pick up there. Now these leeches will drop large Titanite shards as well, but they will sometimes also drop 5 green Titanite. So if you want a divine weapon or a magic weapon, then farming these guys is useful for that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of information to take in, but we'll get through it. And I kind of get fucked up by this one leech. But yeah, now here is the server. Now this weapon gives you back 5 HP for every successful hit that you land. It's kind of just like the Murakumo. I don't think it's quite as powerful. I don't know, but it's in the same vein of a large curved sword or curved great sword. So yeah, just there's the server. It's all right. So running up here to get the plank shield, not that you ever need that, but if you hit this wall here, you can get the Twin Humanities. Again, like I said, you want as much humanity as you can. Now behind the Twin Humanity is another wall that fades away, and that leads to the Great Hollow, and that is in part 11. I'm sure I'll link it at some point in this video as well. So I recommend that you go to the Great Hollow at this point. I didn't do it, but for the amount of ore and things that you get, like Titanite and stuff, it's good because you can pretty much fully upgrade your armor at this point. So if you did do that and you did get all the Twinkling Titanite from the Great Hollow, and you're guaranteed 20 of it, you can use that to upgrade the Crimson set that you're going to get in this video, and that is going to give you a huge boost in defense at this point in the game. So it's up to you if you want to do that or not. Now that is us got all the items here. Now the last thing we need to do here before we move on to Quelaag is we want to become human, and this is going to trigger the Man-Eater Mildrid event. Now this means you just need to fight a basic humanoid enemy, invader kind of thing, which should be no hassle at all for you at this point. Man-Eater Mildrid is really easy. She gives a decent amount of humanity and souls, and if you defeat her at this point, if you're human and you go to fight Quelag, then she will become an NPC summon. Now I'm pretty sure I summoned a few people in some of the videos, but I definitely know in the other Blighttown videos I summoned someone to do Quelag, and I felt really bad because ideally I wanted to show you how you can do bosses yourself easily. I would say that NPC summons are really just using the game to your advantage. There's no point making things harder for yourself, but if you don't have an internet connection, which is insane if you're watching this video, so really I just recommend you summon anyone for every boss if you're having trouble, whatever. But if not, you can summon Man-Eater Mildrid for this, and she really does help. Some of the NPC summons really don't help, but Man-Eater Mildrid is pretty good. So now we're off to Quelaag, and I'm gonna stock up on some armour and things. Put the Dragon Crest shield on because it's got good fire defense, and all of Quelaag's attacks are fire. So yeah, there's that. I'm getting my gold pine resin on the go because really she has a lot of health, so the gold pine resin just means that you'll be doing a bit more damage to her, and that's the main thing really, isn't it? And then I take off the gauntlets because that means I'm under 25%, I'm pretty sure. And now we're off to Quelaag. So Quelaag is easy enough to get to. This big mound here with all the pillars coming out of it, she is basically just down there. Funnily enough, the game doesn't tell you that, but I've always been drawn to this area, so yeah, it's easy enough to find. I just find it weird that there's no actual indication to go this way. I mean, there's no indication to go anywhere in this game, but the first time I was here, I just was drawn to this area, so I don't know what that is. But yeah, walking down here, don't kill those things with the eggs on them, don't hit them or anything, not right now anyway. And if you're poisoned, unpoison yourself. Make sure you're all ready for fighting Quelaag, and we can get on with this. Now, put the Dark Wood Grain ring on if you have it, and put the Wolf ring on if you have it. The Ring of Fog won't help you, and if you have the Ring of Favour and Protection, basically you want the Ring of Favour and Protection and the Dark Wood Grain ring. That's going to be your best combination right now. Summon Man-Eater Mildrid, and as you see there, I was doing the flips. These are helpful because, I mean, it just means I can dodge Quelaag's attacks much easier, and that's definitely helpful for bosses, especially Quelaag. You don't really want to be blocking her attacks. At least I don't like just blocking her attacks, especially if you're in one position and she spews lava out at you. You're going to take a lot of damage from standing in it. So moving about and being faster to get out the lava, as you'll see it almost immediately, is probably the best option as opposed to pure defense. Although, as I will mention, the Balder shield that we're going to be using for the rest of the game once we get it is so good, just simply for the amount of defense and stability it gives. So, you know, that kind of contradicts what I say, but for Quelaag, the Dark Weapon Ring is definitely good. So I'm putting on the gold pine resin. I don't get to use it as much as I really wish I could have. I was playing it really safe when I was doing her, so you can see I'm not getting many attacks in, but Man-Eater Mildrid is, you know, clearly going for it. Now what I should have done is, instead of dancing about this lava pool, I should have moved over to the other clear side of the arena, and she would have came over and tried to get me there, which would have given me more opportunity to hit her. So remember and keep that in mind. Now, Quelaag has a bunch of tells for her attacks. Now, that explosion attack, basically, if she stops, she'll do like one of two things. She will dip her head down, and then she'll go for that radius effect, or what you'll see there is the spider's neck will sort of come in, as if it's like trying to cough something up, and then it'll spew all the lava out at you. So that's really the only tells you've got. But yeah, I mean, once you know them, it becomes like second nature. Now, her swipey attacks are easy enough because you can see her, she just raises her hand, you can see that easily enough, and they're easy to dodge. But if you stay in at her, like just under her arm, like in at the spider's neck and her left leg, or it would be her right leg, but it's on your left, you can stay in there and she can't hit you with her swings. So, you know, if you're kind of under pressure, then you can get in there. I'm trying to think of what other things for Quelaag. I mean, I'd really say that that's the main things for Quelaag. I guess you could maybe use a bow and arrow, just lock on and just fire and let Man-Eater Mildrid. I mean, that would it's probably not great really, and you wouldn't be doing a lot of damage, but it's definitely, you could get damage in. Now there, she just raised up in her legs, but that was so easy to tell. If she just raises up in her legs, you just roll backwards. It's as simple as that. And there you saw the head, she stopped and the spider's head was lowered. She also puts her hand on top of its head, but she does that if it's going to spew out lava as well. But yeah, that's some tells right there. Now she can also jump away, and she can also jump at you, as you saw right at the beginning, but she doesn't really do that often. It's normally that, jumping away. But I've done pretty well myself against her, especially the fact that she's been buffed slightly. Now, as you saw there, that our stabby attack with our sword, that's blockable, and it's especially blockable with the Dragon Crest shield. Now, this next part of the video will be sped up considerably because somehow it took me so long to try and land that last hit in her. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you with it because I've pretty much told you all you really need to know about Quelaag. Again, patience, just take your time with these things. You can't run into, if you're not experienced, you just really can't do that. Okay, so now that we've defeated Quelaag, we get our soul. Now, our soul can be used for a few things. You can eat it for 10,000 souls, you know, like a humanity or a soul packet. You can give it to Frampt for 10,000 souls. You can upgrade any katana, so the washing pole, the Witch katana or the Yato to plus 10, and then you can use her soul to then craft it into the Chaos Blade. You can do the same thing with a curved sword, like the Scimitar or the Falchion, and then that'll create Quelaag's Fury Sword. So right now we're obviously going to ring the bell. You need to remember to do that or else you need to come back. And next we're off to do Ceaseless Discharge and join the Chaos Covenant, and then we've got a few other little things to do. So we've got a Homeward Bone there, but don't use it right now because we've got things to do. So you want to run down here, and you'll see that there's like a patch in the wall which isn't covered by spider webs or eggs, and apparently someone thought it was a good idea to attack this, and the first person must have been so surprised, like just wow. So this is Inige, or Engie, or I've no idea how to pronounce his name. Regardless, you talk to him, you say, pretty sure it was yes, I picked, and it just moves away and you can get into the bonfire. Now you want to rest at that bonfire because it's going to be useful later on. I did not rest in it in the original version of Blight Town. I just lit it and just left. I never actually rested at it, and just remember to rest at it, seriously. Now, rested it there so we can Homeward Bone back to it later to do the rest of our stuff, but once we've done that we're going to run down into the Demon Ruins, and this is going to take us to Ceaseless Discharge. Again, this bit's been sped up a little bit, well, by double, but really you should be able to see what I'm doing. I would be surprised if this being sped up double was made this confusing, and I really hope it hasn't, but I'm sure it's made it more palatable and easy to watch. This thing would be an hour and a half long if it wasn't for all this speeding up of things, so I'm sure you'd rather a shorter time than incredibly long time. Plus I don't know if I'd be able to fill it up with idle chatter. So anyway, you want to follow where it is that I'm going. Don't bother with him right now, he won't attack you until you do the next thing I'm going to do here. So back to normal speed, and you pick up this is the gold hemmed black set, and it's pretty good armour for this point in the game. Now just wait about here and let him do that attack, and then just bolt. Run as fast and as long as you can. So long as you do what I just done there in the same timing, you really shouldn't have any issues doing this. This is kind of standard practice at this point. Now this boss is really meant for a much later part of the game, probably in the last third of the game, but the fact that you can beat him this way essentially means that there's no point in not doing him at this point in the game, simply for the fact you're going to get an extra 20,000 souls. He's incredibly easy, and if you follow my instructions, he's not going to kill you. If he does kill you, you've missed your chance, but he won't kill you. So that's pretty he just won't. Now when he does this jumping attack, hit his hand a few times and he'll then fall off the edge. And then you'll be rewarded with a Homeward Bone and your souls. So for all of what would appear to be 2.5 minutes work, you just got yourself 20,000 souls. So that's pretty good. You would need to defeat Ceaseless Discharge later on, so you might as well just get him out of the way. Especially for the Demon Ruins area, because there's already 2 bosses in it anyway, so there'll be a lot of bosses in this area with Ceaseless Discharge as well. So, you know, whatever. So we're going to homeward bone back to, can't remember what the bit is called, like some witch bonfire, whatever. So we're back here, and yeah, so we're going to join the Chaos Covenant because that is what we wanted to do. It's the only covenant we joined really, and I had to fade it into a different set of videos because I was using the mule build and I wasn't able to do this properly. So when you enter the covenant, she will give you the Great Chaos Fireball Pyromancy, and it's one of my favourite pyromancies, especially for PvE. Now, with all the humanity that you should have as consumable items, you want to basically give her 30 of them. You can always come back and give her more if you don't have 30, but once you use the 30 consumable items, or have 30 in your, you know, up at the top left, you just want to give her them, and when you've finally given her 30, you will be rewarded with Chaos Storm, which is another great pyromancy. This is you now level 2 or level 3 in the Chaos Covenant, level 3, and this now means that you can do the shortcut to Lost Isleth later on in the game. Okay, so we're talking to Inige right now, and I'm going to show you a cool little thing here. He's an interesting NPC. If you're not egged, there's nothing you can do, but you can upgrade your Pyromancy Flame, so that's something to keep in mind. And he will also give you a Pyromancy Flame if your intelligence is at 11. So I think I do that right now. Not right now. Okay, we're going to get egged right now, and you may need to gain his trust. You may need to do this before he sells you the Pyromancy Flame, so that might be it. But basically, to get egged, just kick one of these guys, and then once they attack you a certain amount of time, eventually it will happen. You'll go through this for quite a while, and one of their attacks will eventually latch onto you, and although it is latching onto you, eventually it will latch onto you and it will work, and you'll start scratching your head, and that is when you know that you've been successfully infected. There's really no benefits to this. When you get egged, it absorbs half your souls, and once it's consumed, it's either 100,000 or 200,000 of half of your souls, so it's essentially 400,000. Once it's absorbed that many souls, it will mutate into a bigger egg, and your kick will be like a little, basically the attack it's using there, it just spits out like a little worm thing. So once you're scratching your head, you've got another little bit longer to wait. Now Inige will only trust you if you've been egged, so essentially you can do this and he gives you the cure to it immediately anyway, so there's really no downside to doing this. Now when you've done this and you've gained his trust, like I said, he'll sell you a Pyromancy Flame if you need him to, although you probably won't, and he'll also sell you Poison Mist and Toxic Mist, so that is where you get the second Poison Mist from Inige. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. I think I've covered everything, but now I'm also going to show you it, and then I'm going to show you one more thing. Oh god. So yeah, should be coming up for the egg bursting out my head, like right now. There we go. So Inige will then be like, oh, you've been egged, yeah, great. And then, you know, whatever. You talk to them, and you know, his dialogue changes.
Your head looks awful. Oh, hello. What is it that you need? Worse than undead. We are diseased and unwanted, like the grime of the great swamp. But my dear fair lady, she cried for me and swallowed the great blight pus, despite Mistress Quelaag's orders to the contrary.
Okay, so he gave us the egg vermifuge. You can now buy it off him, and you can buy poison and toxic mist from as well. So, and then if you put your intelligence up to 11, he will then sell you a Pyromancy Flame. So we needed to put our intelligence up to 14 anyway, so we've got just enough to put it up to 11, so it's all good. It's all good in the hood, and yeah. talk to him when you've done that, and he'll give you a pyromancy flame. So now the last thing is I'm going to talk to Quilina or Quilana. I think she's Quilina, whatever. And it's horrible. So if you put on the old witch's ring, which you get as a starting item, or from giving Snuggly the Crow something, I can't remember what it is right now. Basically, the absolute second most heart-wrenching thing to happen in this game.
My dear sister. Quelag, what is it? Quelag, my dear sister. The eggs, it hurts. They've gone still. I am afraid it may be too late. I am so sorry, dear sister. I'll be fine. I have you, dear sister. But promise me that you will take care of yourself. I'll be... Goodbye, Quelag. Do be safe.
Okay, so after the heart-wrenching performance that Quilina just gave us, taking the egg vermifuge because we don't need to be egged anymore. And just one more thing. If we upgrade the pyromancy to, well, our pyromancy flame to +10, this will be the trigger for Quilina of Ceaseless to show up in Blighttown, and obviously she's the master pyromancy vendor. So now remember, I used a whole bunch of souls upgrading my pyromancy flame at this point, and I used another whole bunch of souls to upgrade my intelligence to 11. So remember, I don't have as much souls as I would like to have at this point.
A mere
and here she is.
undead, yet you can see me. Fascinating. I am Quilana of Ceaseless. I am not often revealed to walkers of flesh. You have a gift. Are you too one who seeks my pyromancy, like Solomon? Yes, of course. It should be expected. Very well. You shall be my pupil, but to pursue my pyromancy, you must give something up. Are you prepared to do this? No luck? Well, young pupil, you must have patience, but do not keep me waiting much longer.
So to give myself some more funds for buying pyromancy, I'm using all the soul packets that I've picked up currently at this point in the game. That's what I would normally be doing anyway, and this allows me to buy some pyromancy off Quilina. So there's a load of pyromancies that I would obviously want to buy off her. Obviously you would want to buy Great Fireball, Great Combustion as well. That's really the sort of the main ones that you'd want to be getting, and Fire Whip is good as well. Yeah, Fire Whip is really good. Now as long as you have one of these great pyromancies off her, this will then be able to trigger Laurentus's, in Firelink Shrine. That will trigger his last part of the quest. Now if you've bought everything you want to buy off Quilina, then, or Quilana, if you bought everything you want off her, you can kill her and you'll get Fire Tempest. Now you definitely don't want to kill her until you've upgraded your pyromancy flame from +15 to an ascended flame +5. Now when you have a pyromancy flame +15, she's the only vendor in the game that will be able to ascend it to +5. So remember to keep her alive until that's at least happened. Or indeed, if you're a nice guy, just, don't kill her, because you can get Fire Tempest off her once you've killed Bed of Chaos and you just need to talk to her. So yeah, that's your other option if you don't want to kill her. Now put on your highest, we're on our way out now, and to get the last few items to make your life not a living hell, put on your highest poison resistant armour that you have at this particular point in time. It should be what I have currently. So yeah, now we just need to walk up this area of scaffolding, and this is going to take us out the back part of Blighttown, and we're basically nearly done the guide at this point, but we've got a few more things to pick up. So yeah, you can also just go up this water wheel or lift. I don't have no idea. I'd say it's a lift. Yeah. More of a lift than a water wheel anyway. And we can roll off here onto the scaffolding, and then we just keep traversing our way up. Just keep going up the ladders, and that will take us to where we want to be. Now, what you can see here, if I just go up a little bit more, is this tree branch that leads over to the other side. Now, you can go over it, and you can go over this way, and it will lead to the Crimson set, and I'll show you that in a second, but I hate going over that tree. You can't walk over it, and even at that, there's like a very specific line you need to go over, or else you'll fall off. And the amount of times I've fallen off it, just because, I mean, it's just needlessly irritating. So I'll show you an easier way to do that later. Now, keep your spider shield up, that way you can block these many a toxic blow dart sniper in this area. However, if you've got the Ring of Fog on, again, it will make your life a lot easier. So keep this up. And this guy apparently does this, and then you can just chuck a Pyromancy at him and he'll die. Pick up this soul, get out your sword or whatever weapon, and drop attack the two dogs that are down here. And then just pick up your delicious Firekeeper soul. No more items here, and homeward bone back to the bonfire in Blighttown. That walking out of this area is just going to cause you grief and hassle, but you're probably going to get toxic, so just, you know, deal with it by doing this. So just speed the video up a bit more, just follow the same path, except this time we're going to go up one more level. And yeah, so going up this way, and we won't have any blow dart guys to contend with, especially the fact that we killed a couple anyway, so it's really no issue. So this is back where we were. If we go right, that'll take us back to the Firekeeper soul area, but if we go left up these ladders, this will take us to getting the Crimson set. And the Crimson set is, in my opinion, the best set of armour in the game. Just overall, okay, it lacks poise, but it's incredibly light in comparison to the defence it gives you, and it's pretty balling, and it completely upgrades with Twinkling Titanite, which means you can upgrade it incredibly quickly without slabs, which means you can fully upgrade it easily. So yeah, I've got a good reasoning, I'd say. And at this point in the game, it's going to give you the highest defence of pretty much any armour set that isn't like the Knight set or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. So yeah, so you just dropped off that ledge up there, and that takes us over to this other side. So that means you don't need to go over the branch and fall off and keep risking having to come back and get any souls that you might have. So pick up that stuff there, go over here and you pick up the Remedy sorcery, even though it's totally useless. You also get the Tin Banishment Catalyst, which is okay. It's alright. Not awful, not amazing. But here is the branch. Now you could walk over that, and yeah, it would be quicker if you don't fall off. But you know, you might fall off, and you might as well just play it safe if you're at this point and you've came this far. So just abuse some more homeward bones and head back off to the bonfire. And again, we're just going to do the exact same thing. We are just going to equip my normal armour at this point. Now, the great thing about the Crimson set and the set that I recommended that you start off with is, if you have 20 endurance and the Ring of Favour and Protection, you can wield the Heater Shield, the Claymore, the Pyromancy Flame, the Talisman, and the full Crimson set, and still get a light roll. So that is essentially like the way I planned the character out level wise and the way I wanted it to develop. So that is kind of what I aimed for at this point. So this is just a general guideline that you may or may not want to follow. But yeah, if you don't have the Ring of Favour and Protection on, you can't, you know, you don't get your light roll whilst wearing all that stuff. So you might need to unequip a few things. But the reason I like the Heater Shield so much is because at this point in the game it is the lightest shield that has the blocks 100% physical damage, so you know, it's pretty good in that sense. It doesn't have the best stability, and stability is a really great thing to have, but at this point in the game you don't really need it. You need stability later on, but yeah. I don't pick up that soul packet because I actually picked it up earlier in a different video, so yeah, in the first video I picked that up actually, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, this is essentially the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a lot of effort on my part. The amount of editing that this took, and the amount of planning this took as well, and then me trying to stay enthusiastic through the full thing for a full hour. So I hope you appreciate it. In fact, more so, I just hope it's helpful. I hope that I've taught people how to do Blight Town better than anyone else. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Now remember, with your Firekeeper soul that you've gotten, you should upgrade your Estus flask. And the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk to Laurentius to activate his quest. So like Quelina and Quana and Inige, I'm just going to let you listen to him talk.
Oh, hello there. You've been a stranger these days. Why? What spectacular pyromancy? Tell me about it. I have never seen anything like it. Why, yes, of course. Thank you for sharing. I'm still an able pyromancer. I shall locate her myself. I'm in your debt once again.
Okay, so if you have said yes to this after having a pyromancy that Quilana's gave you, or Quelina, essentially he'll now leave and go down to Blight Town, and the next time you go down to Blight Town he'll be hollow and he will attack you, and that's his quest line over essentially. You want to stock up on whatever things that he has left for you to buy if you want to buy anything else from him, because there's a few interesting things. And yeah, I mean, if you quit out or go to a different area, come back, he won't be here. So that is it for the video. That's all of Blight Town, and it's been fun, I guess, sort of. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, so bye guys. Rate, comment, subscribe as well if you've got this far. See you.